Well, first off, I want to say thanks for watching the video that we put out there. We're pretty new to this. In fact, we just started making them for pheasant hunting. We kind of wandered off into politics there, I guess, and current events. The members that hunted with me knew that sign real well, so I made that for the members. But what my daughter says and what we see here on our comments is most of the people that have watched this aren't pheasant hunters. They're not thorn bottom. They're new to thorn bottom, so we'll try to aim something at you folks. I think what everybody should understand is if you got kids, the reason I blew that up is I can't stand all the woke crap that's going on, and I couldn't look at that sign. Even though it was a great sign for what it stood for, I've got grandkids, and I don't want them to grow up in a world where they're afraid to say what they believe, or they got to have freedom of speech. And if we don't get off our ass, our generation, and show the young kids that there still are people that will do stuff, you're going to lose it. I'm going to aim this at some of the younger crowd that don't think that a boycott will work, and I am really glad to see that Budweiser's taking a hit on this. Losing $7-8 billion before long it becomes real money. But in about 1994 was when the assault weapons ban went into effect, and Smith & Wesson comes out and said that any FFL dealer, if they wanted to sell Smith & Wesson pistols in their store, they had to sign a pledge that they would not sell an AR style gun at all. The Brits were going to tell the Americans how to live. Even though we kicked their ass 200 years before that twice, they thought they were going to tell us. I don't think we've ever fought the InBev people. We usually spend our time bailing their ass out. That's the problem when you're the big dog on the street. You have to bail out the little dogs sometimes. But sometimes the little dog's got to get his ass kicked to remember why the big dog is the big dog. But let's go back to my story. Smith & Wesson thought they would be real smart. Now, I think they paid about $60-70 million for the brand. Well, within about 2 years, that British company was up for bankruptcy because when you tell American gun dealers they have to do something, you get the big FU right in the face. And a company comes along, American company buys Smith & Wesson for $15 million. They get all the logos, they get everything. Now Smith & Wesson is one of the largest makers of AR style rifles in the country. So don't say that a boycott won't work or that you can't teach a big company a lesson. I think they're starting to learn a lesson, but don't give in after this bullshit that this Budweiser CEO just wrote. He must think we're all a bunch of morons. He didn't say anything. He gave a bunch of gobbledygook. I worked for the Beretta shooting promotions for 19 years. Well, I didn't really work. I was employed at Beretta, and shooting promotions is what I did. So I understand the gun business a little bit. And I understand the East Coast people, because I come from rural Ohio, and Beretta was on the East Coast. Beretta's factory was in Accokeek, 20 miles from downtown D.C. And most of those people over there don't understand us. We are flyover country. But you know there's a lot more of us than there are them. So keep up that. Just a little, my kids have heard me say this, that as a hunter, as a wildlife person all my life, I've watched animals, any living thing, and there's three things that motivate all animals, all living things: fear, food, and sex. You want to know why this Bud Light thing's not going to go away? It has all three of them. It's got fear. Right now, Budweiser's scared shitless because they don't know what's going to happen. It's got sex. You've got this Dylan Muldeavy, who's I would call a transvestite, but some people call him a hustler, which he probably is. I can't really blame him if he's taking them for money. More power to him, but I don't like what he's doing to our kids. And if I was a woman, I'd be super pissed. runs around. He thinks you women are even stupider than a lot of you act. I am a male chauvinist pig, but I'm who you want in the alley behind you if there's a fight. And the third thing is food. So you've got fear, food, and sex going in on this. What food? Bud Light is food to some people. I mean, I know some people that probably drink more beer than they eat food in the course of a day, and you usually can see them as they roll out of the bar. But just remember that. Fear, food, and sex. So what we got to do is we're not going to feed them, and we're not going to screw them. They need to be afraid of us. So keep up the good work, and we'll be putting out some videos, I'm sure.